webcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, traders. Okay, welcome to the Bookmap Platform Details webinar. This is Bruce at Bookmap. A risk disclaimer: trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Okay. Good morning, Andrea. Let's just go over what we're going to do here in the webinar. The goals, very simple to go over just some of the basics here in Bookmap. For you guys to ask any questions that you have, to go through some of the resources. We'll start at bookmap.com and then go through, define what Bookmap is, how to connect it to the markets, what it does, and how to subscribe to it. Okay, some of the social media as well, other resources, and then we'll get into the basics of the Bookmap interface so you guys understand what you're looking at, and then basics and order flow as well. Okay, so once you subscribe, you do get access to Bookmap education. Okay, that comes along with the product. Right, so there's a 4-part educational course, and gives you understanding from basic market mechanics on through to advanced concepts. Okay, so the education is a little different than what you might be accustomed to, and that's good. It's definitely a good thing. Understanding order flow and integrating that into the way you trade is really what this is about here. Okay, so then that educational content that comes with the subscription, okay, for that course, we go through that same content in the advanced order flow webinars. Okay, and those start at 11 a.m. Eastern every day following this webinar. Okay, what we do there is we go through the same process we do in the educational course. Then we just back it up in the live market, though. So you can learn about Bookmap and learn about order flow with the educational course, and then see it every day in the live market. And then due to our analysis in the live market, we start to anticipate the future price movement. Okay, so anyway, that's the education that comes with Bookmap. Let's jump over to that website, and we'll start to scroll down. Okay, and an intro video here, information about Bookmap. You might have clicked here to get to this webinar right now, and continue on down here. Bookmap for U.S. equities, I'll go over that in just a minute. Continue on, and connectivity. Okay, we'll stop here and let me define what Bookmap is. Okay, we are a trading platform. Okay, we're software. We're not a data provider, nor are we a broker. Okay, so but you are able to trade 3 different market types. Okay, digital currencies or cryptocurrencies, futures, as well as equities. Okay, U.S. equities in particular, and we do provide the data for the crypto market only to a GDAX exchange right now. That's all, but that data is free as well. Okay, it comes with Bookmap for any of the versions that we have, and then for connecting to futures and U.S. equities are other versions that I'll go over in just a second. So here's how you connect Bookmap. Okay, now you can see that there's some platforms listed here as well. Okay, Ninja, TTX Trader Pro, and Interactive Brokers Traders Workstation. We connect via the API of these 3 different platforms. So you can go that route if you like. It's better though, and we suggest it, recommend it, to connect directly to the markets with CQG, Rhythmic, Gain, IQ Feed, Transact, and Dev Experts. Why? I mean, because we're a platform just like everyone else is. So it's better to get the pure data coming from the data source. All right, now the Dev Experts is for US equities. So let's scroll back up here and let me go over that here. Okay, it's a great data feed. It's very low latency, and you get full depth of market, okay, order by order data. And it's a consolidated feed, or you have that possibility. You get NASDAQ total view and or EdgeX, which is BATS from the CBOE. Okay, so you have that possibility of getting both of them as well. All right. Okay, scroll down a bit further. We've gone over connectivity, defined what Bookmap is and how to connect it, and then subscription packages. So let's go over this. Here are the different versions, digital and global. You can subscribe yearly here and get a 20% discount, or monthly. Click here. And you can see here the two different versions for digital. And as I mentioned, the digital data is free for GDAX exchange. The free version here that you get with Bookmap is a full copy of Bookmap. However, it's you only get access to one digital currency. Okay, that's it. Limited support and limited education. Okay, now the Digital Plus version here, what you get is the ability to trade right from the Bookmap chart into your GDAX account. You can record and replay your data, and you get up to 20 different digital currencies at a time. You also get full support and access to the advanced education. Okay, the global version. This is what connects to the equities and the futures markets. Okay, it includes everything in Digital Plus, but you also get the ability to connect to the futures and equities, but you will need to provide the data for that. And that's the big difference between that and the global, than the Digital Plus. Okay, the Global Plus, what you get with this one is the ability to trade right from the Bookmap chart for US equities and your futures account, and have those trades take place in a live market. And then we have our cache of add-on indicators here. Okay, large lot tracker, looking at specific larger players in the book. Okay, we can identify them. These are proprietary indicators we put together, looking for specifics in the order flow. Okay, they're not like RSI or stochastics or MACD. These are very specific. Okay, looking at imbalances in the order book or imbalances in the volume. Iceberg tracker here, again, looking at larger players using iceberg orders. And then a correlation tracker, you can look at other markets plotted onto the chart as well. All right, so that's the different packages. Let's just go over quickly some of the social media here. You can subscribe to or follow us on Twitter at bookmap_pro. And then our YouTube page here, just some playlists on the home page here, intro videos, features and components, order flow video snippets. I'll just stop here and would recommend that you watch as many of these as you can to understand what Bookmap is, how it identifies specific behavior in the order book very clearly and visualizes it. All right, so that's social media, and let's jump into Bookmap. Okay, we're going to look at the NASDAQ, and here we are. And it's rollover week. We can already see some kind of interesting behavior here in NASDAQ. It's kind of indicative of rollover. It's kind of scattered all over the place here, some of the liquidity. Whereas you can see here before the market, very specific things going on here. Anyway, looking pretty bullish. 9:30 open, very high liquidity in the book, supporting price on the breakout to the upside here, and then they pull here. All right, so what is this heat map here? What am I talking about? This big orange clusters here. Interesting stuff. Interesting stuff to see today. But that's the heat map. Okay, all that is a recording from your depth of market. Okay, so your dome, taking your dome and taking those areas where here's the dome and Bookmap. Everything to the right of this vertical white line here is the live market. Okay, so this is your best bid and offer. This is your current price or last traded price. This number is your last traded volume. Okay, and then if we zoom in here, let's just go over the order book. You can see depth of market here on the offer and then on the bid here. Okay, so these are players lined up here, traders that they're providing liquidity. 94 contracts are up here at 71.54. Okay, so the highest in the book, in the immediate book here, as we can see, now it's 98 contracts. I'll just jump down back to 94. Okay, so down on the bid though, we just saw that there was 50 something contracts here, and they just pulled here at 71.47. It looks like we'll probably get a test down here. It looks like let's see how they're starting to shift the book here. So we'll probably get a test down to this 47 here. Anyway, we'll keep an eye on that. That's all it is like taking these areas of liquidity, these numeric values here, okay, in the book, the live book, and then we just transform into a heat map here. So when these numbers change, the heat map changes. Okay, here's our move into 47. There we go. Beautiful little move there. Okay, just by reading the order book, I didn't even look at the volume here. I just looked at the order book, and that's all we needed to understand. Okay, we didn't even need to look at any structure or anything. We just had to look at the order book, and we could understand that. Anyway, that's the kind of insight that it gives you without having to read the numeric values here. And what we do, though, is you see these numbers. When the numbers change, the heat map changes. But what we do is we record it. So what I was watching here was them lowering the offer, getting aggressive here. Okay, and we could see it. It's all recorded. So note this guy here at 71.50, or many players potentially here, and they're pulling and adding liquidity. And when the heat map changes, it's recorded. So these striations that we see in the heat map is just the adding and pulling of liquidity. All right. So the scale is up here, the heat map. To the right, we have a kind of reddish or orange area. That is the highest amount of liquidity. Okay, and then it goes down to yellow, and then white, then blue, and then black. Okay, as being the least amount of liquidity. So that's the scale. All right. So that's just one element on this chart, okay, that we've covered here. And you look at this and you go, wow, there's lots of different elements. This is very complex stuff. It's not. It's very straightforward and about as basic as you can get for the market. There's no real sort of derivative of time, price, or volume here at all. Okay, it's the market. So we just covered the heat map, so you guys understand what the heat map is, and that is something unique and new potentially for you to understand that now you can use your dome not only for the current market, we can zoom out and we can use it on much higher time frames. Okay, and starting to understand these areas here where the auction, how the auction is going, like we were just reading it for this move down into 47. Okay, it'll come down to about 45. They didn't test 45 here, as you can see, and now we're starting to find some buyers, and they're pushing it back up now. Anyway, that's the heat map. The other two elements on this chart, very simple. Historical best bid and offer. Here's our current best bid and offer. All this is just recorded and plotted on the chart. Okay? And why is that an advantage? Because this is not aggregated. This is price. Very simply put, it is just price, or best bid and offer, I should say. And the price is actually when the transactions, which you see here with the dots, okay, that's when price has actually been recorded, because the transaction has taken place then at that time. And that's it, right? So just three elements here, okay? Historical best bid and offer, the transaction that took place, and the auction. Okay, just it's current and recorded. Now we do have some other. We see a CVD indicator subpanel here. We have a historical VWAP and up here a point of control. We're going to turn those off, and we're just going to look at these three elements on the Bookmap chart. Okay, there we go. Yeah, that's it, these three elements here. Now, let's just, I want to go over some of the advantages here that you get, because, what we're accustomed to is looking at a 5-minute candlestick chart or some sort of bar chart. It doesn't have to be 5 minutes. It could be a Renko bar. It could be a range bar. It could be, some sort of reversal. Whatever it is. It's still going to be aggregated within some sort of period. Okay, it could be volume, or it could be time. okay, or ticks, whatever, doesn't matter. Look at, the candlestick chart here is showing us here an aggregation of, and we only have 4 data points for each bar. Okay, open, high, low, and close. Now, that's really not giving us much information here whatsoever. What happened in between these two 5-minute candle bars or candlesticks? Okay, well, this is what happened. Okay, we had no clue to any of that. Okay, we don't know where the volume traded, for example, precisely where it traded. Well, we're seeing all sorts of microstructures here, for example. In fact, you don't see that whatsoever here. Okay, you can see that there's a little double top in here. Okay, and you can see that. Look at the volume as well. Look at how much volume traded up here. Very little. Okay, we don't see a lot of dots up here compared to over here. Okay, so this is starting to exhaust out. Come back down and trade, and more volume starts to trade down here. Okay, now we're starting to put together volume, and this was that move we were looking for down into 47. Okay, but we didn't even look at volume earlier. But now we're starting to put that together into the picture as well. What we saw before was them getting aggressive on the offer, and you can even see it here. Okay, note how these larger players here, high liquidity, they're pulling in these areas up here, and what are they doing? They're adding it down here. Okay, very aggressive, and that helped this move to the downside. Okay? When we found some sellers, push it down. Anyway, now we're starting to put the pieces together, okay, of volume and heat map or dome, the auction, really where they're bidding and offering, and understanding their behavior, okay, and why we can anticipate movements like this to occur. Anyway, let me zoom into this area here so I can show you specifically like some of these microstructural areas, and you can see the advantage here immediately. This is aggregated, this is not. Here's what really happened, and we're understanding this exhaustion here is giving us good insight for this move here. Okay. Also, we broke down below here this little swing. Okay, another microstructural element here. You can see that it tested here, and we see a move to the upside, quick move back up, and then it comes back down, tests this little swing here, comes back up, and exhausts out on the buy side. And that looks pretty good. Now, if the sellers come in here and they can get it down below that area, we're looking for a move to the downside just by the volume, not even looking at the heat map in this case, just by the volume. And the volume cluster down here looks really good. Okay? And we got that continuation. Anyway, that's what we're starting to really piece together some of the details here. Now you can do that not just by looking at the recent action here, but you can start to do that. And let's just get rid of that candlestick on much higher time frames now. Okay, you can zoom out because you can see the volume here and the liquidity in the current market. And so let's zoom into this area up here, and I just want to show you that these other two elements here. We covered the heat map. We know what that is. Now the historical best bid and offer. Well, that's about as simple as it gets right there. Okay, best offer is the red line. Best bid is the green line, and this is a spread. Okay, most of the time Nasdaq E-mini it's about 1 tick, but you can see it widens out here. Okay, to 2 ticks a bunch of times. And then here are the transactions that took place. Okay, so let's zoom in here and just get a feel for a real simple example, and bring up the dot size. Okay, well, on the best ask, here's a transaction that took place. Okay, we can get the precise data using this data tip tool, and we get the date, the time, and note how the time is down to the nanosecond. Every single event is recorded here in Bookmap. Okay? We don't aggregate any of this data, only visually or graphically. And then you can see that on the ask there was 4 contracts here, and then what traded was volume of 5. Okay? So it actually swept the book. Okay? Now, as we zoom in here, note how we're recording every single transaction that took place. Okay, there might even be a few more. Okay, no, that's it. Looks like that's it. Okay, and we're down at microsecond level. We can continue on and look at nanosecond level. Billions of seconds is what we're looking at. We come from this HFT environment, and we were developing algos for high frequency trading. And this was a visualization tool to understand where we were getting filled. And that led into the product of Bookmap. Okay, so recording precisely the data is important. And that's one of the strengths here in Bookmap. And now, as you zoom back out, note how we're consolidating or just graphically starting to show the aggregation here of the overall volume. So it's a volume of 5. Okay, but we know that there were many more transactions when we zoom back in. Okay, now we have our volume counter over here, and it shows 5 here, and we can look at a trades counter as well. So we know the number of events that took place and the number of or contracts that traded. Okay? So you have that option. Anyway, so that's how we're recording the volume. Okay, and then this is a market sell here. This is for volume of 1. So they just hit the bid and traded 1 contract here. All right, now you'll note also see this pie display. And well, there's so many transactions that took place there that in the overall flurry of activity, we're giving you both buying and selling volume. And it's for a volume of 5. Okay, but you can see that it looks like 4 of those are sell volume and 1 is a buy, basically, something like that. And we zoom in here, and we're going to pull apart. Note now we've pulled apart those transactions, and we can look precisely at what's going on here. So volume of 5. Let me split it out here as well. We can configure this and split out this data here. And there we go. Here's 4 transactions here, or volume of 4 here, and then volume of 1 here. Okay, and it's been split out also in our volume column. Okay, so, and now I'm back to the composite. All right, so those are the 3 elements that we're showing you here in Bookmap very, very precisely. Okay, let's go back to the current market here. Okay, looks like I might have some sort of issue here. I'm using a new beta version that you guys don't have yet. So they might have some sort of issue here. Not sure. There it is. Okay, just needed a refresh. But we're testing something here, so I can't wait to cover it with you guys. It's really cool. Anyway, all right. So now we have a complete picture of what's going on here in the market. Okay, we have the best bid and offer, transactions, and heat map. All right, and that's it. All right. Looks like I'm out of some memory here. Well, let's wrap it up. And for those of you who are in the advanced order flow webinar, we'll see you over there. It starts in about 5 minutes, and we'll continue on if for those of you who are subscribers. Okay. All right. See you there. Bye bye.